Welcome to today's video, where I will show you how you can gather data from the Bitcoin blockchain without setting up a full node or any other hardware requirements whatsoever. For this example, we will take Google BigQuery and build a Bitcoin rich list to see the biggest addresses. We will take the top 1 million, and in the end, we will build a little Python program to see where you rank in this list. You can use the chapters in the YouTube timeline to just skip to whichever chapter you're most interested in. And now I'd say, let's get going. So first I want to show you how I came to this idea. I saw this rich list online, the Bitcoin rich list, where you can see how many addresses hold how many Bitcoins. So you can see a very small amount. You can see 0 to 1, 0.1 to 1. And this is the motivation for this video. And on this rich list, you can also see the biggest addresses listed below. So you can see the number 1 address with the most Bitcoin, number 2, and so on. They're all listed there. But one problem I came across is that, first of all, I want to get this data. I want to build my own rich list. And second of all, you can see the steps are only 1 to 10. What if I have 2 or 3 Bitcoin or 0.2? What are my options then to see where I stand? And to get the data for this granularity, you need to do your own parsing of the Bitcoin blockchain. And as I said in the intro, you don't need any hardware for it. We will be using Google Cloud and free trial. You just have to set your credit card details, but you can see on top you have some free credits that won't be touched with this tutorial, I can assure you. And we start this by setting our own new project. And the name is not important. You can just name it however you like. I would just call it Project Rich List and for this video. And then create the project. This will take a few seconds, as you can see on the right hand side. And after this created, you can select it. You're now in the project. You can see it on top. And in here, you need to look for the BigQuery feature. You can see you have a lot of options right here. It's like AWS or Azure if you've used it before, and you can use the search bar to just go to the BigQuery feature of Google Cloud. We are now in the BigQuery feature of Google Cloud, and you can see you have a lot of features that they want you to click on. It's a lot of clutter on the screen, but the one that we want is the search bar. And in the search bar, you can just look for Bitcoin. Just enter it, and you can also search for other datasets. Just have a stroll, look what you find interesting. And it's important to go to public on this one, because otherwise it just looks in your own project, but you want to see the public data from Bitcoin. And over here we have it. As you can see, you have crypto Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash. We're only interested in Bitcoin. And when we open the table, you can see you have different tables inside it. You have the blocks, you have inputs and outputs, and the transactions. You can also just look at them and see how they're structured. You can see the field names, the types, the models, just how a table is structured in this format. Now when you find the right table, as we did right here, the outputs table, you can start a query and just use simple SQL statements to get the data that you want from it. I prepared a small little SQL statement and copied it in. You will also find this in the video description, so just feel free to use this and copy it. This will take the 1 million top Bitcoin addresses with their balance. And as you can see, we will use the public data from the outputs and the inputs, do a left join on it. If you have any more questions on SQL, just use some online tools that are available and get to know the language. It's really easy. And you will create a new table for this. It's very important, the unnest one here that I'm highlighting right now, because you have multiple outputs from transactions. That's how the Bitcoin network works. And you need to unnest this to get all the outputs. Then once this is done and you have a new set of all the transactions from all addresses, you will just select the addresses with their value, how much they have, and convert this to Bitcoin, because right now it's in Satoshis. And then last, we will use only the unspent ones, so you can see the balances. Group this by the addresses and limit it for 1 million. So you have the top 1 million holdings of the addresses. Feel free to change this if you only want the top 100 addresses or top 10 million. You can just adjust this right here in this last line. And you will see there's a small little preview button from Google Cloud at the bottom. And this won't change because you're aggregating it anyways. This is just how big the dataset will be that you download in the end. It took me maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then the query was completed. As you can see, you get a green check mark, and also all the addresses with their balance as we'd expected. You can just have a scroll around, look at the data, and what I always do when you get this result is to cross-check, is this the right data? So here you can see the top holdings have 248,000 Bitcoin, and of course this also matches with the RichList that is on the internet right now. So maybe let's do some more, because maybe we just got lucky with the first one. Let's look at the other ones. The next ones are 140,000, also matches with the RichList. And of course, we can now download it. We can save it to the clipboard. This is a little bit too big for it, 1 megabyte. I always use the JSON-L because it's up to 1 gigabyte and it will appear in your Google Drive. This is now the downloaded file. You can see we have the addresses and their balance, and it's a JSON file, so we can use it to just do some data science with it, just play around with it. You can now download it to your local PC or just leave it in your Google Drive, whatever you want. Now for the last part for this tutorial, I want to show you how you can just have a look at the data, and also later on to show you how to write a small little function with it in Python. In here, we're in Jupyter Notebooks. You can just download it and install it. And first of all, if you want to take a look at data, you have to do this with Pandas. Pandas is a nice plugin to work with data and to process it efficiently. And in here, we're creating a new data frame. It's called a data structure in Pandas. And we will now import our JSON file that we just got. And here you can see if you press tab, it's autocomplete, but this won't work right here. We get an error because it's an inline JSON format. So we have to activate this flag with lines equals true. Now, if you press Shift and Enter, the cell, you can run the cell and it works. And to see what we have now, we can just type the command dataframe.info, and we can see we have 1 million entries. We have 2 columns. Column 0 is addresses, column 1 balances, and we also have the right data types already. If we want to look at the top ones, we can just use dataframe.head, and we can see, as we've seen before, we have the top address, and let's cross-reference it again. We can see, yes, that's right. Those are the top number 5 entries. Now for the last part, I added this function, I just copied it in, and I made a new data frame sorted, that's called, because we just want to make 100% sure that it's descending, because we now set this flag ascending false, so it's descending. This step isn't 100% necessary, but we can see now it's in the same order, but we just need to make it sure that it's 100% descending and ordered. So now if you take a look at the function that I wrote, this function basically checks if you, so you give this variable my balance, and it checks if it is in the balances that you have in the, so it creates a new function found addresses, which looks, is it in there? So is it in the range of the top 1 million in this case? And if it is the case, it's in the found addresses data frame. So that's a new data structure right here. Now it checks right here if the new data frame found addresses is empty. It's not empty in this case. If it's not empty, then you are in this range, and it just returns congratulations with your input BTC. You would be the rank that you are among the top 1 million addresses. If the found addresses data frame is empty, there are two possibilities. So if my balance is smaller than the last balance in list, the variable pretty much speaks for itself, then you are just not among the top richest 1 million addresses. Or the other case, if the data frame is empty, is that you are just rank number 1. You have more than the biggest balance, and this is the last return of this function. So you have all the cases that are possible. I will, of course, put this code in the description. It's just a small little function. You can write your own functions, of course, and just replace the text however you want it in your language, or any adaptations that you want to make. You can just have a play around. This is just a small little function. So let's test it right now. We will just call the function, find my rank. We will give it a number because that's what's needed, the my balance variable. And we'll start with 100,000 Bitcoin. All right, congratulations, with 100,000 Bitcoins, you would be rank 5. We can just check it. Is this true? 100,000. Yes, we have more than rank number 5, 49,000. So we would be the new rank number 5. Perfect. And let's also check, and with programming, you also check edge cases. All right, we'll use a bigger one, 250,000. We would be rank number 1. And maybe another one smaller than the last one. We now just have the head of the data frame. So let's just find out what's at the bottom of the data frame. For this, you can use the command dataframe.tail. And you can see the last entries. All right, they have around 0.9998. All right, so we'll choose a smaller number than this to see if the function works properly. 0.1, perfect. You're unfortunately not among the richest 1 million Bitcoin addresses. And with 1, you're among it and also in the right place. This looks perfectly fine. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you were able to follow along, and please let me know your feedback in the comments. Please also feel free to share your projects that you do with this data, because getting it is the one part. We did this in this tutorial, but using it is a whole nother story. This rich list that we just built is just a small little project to visualize the data. But of course, you can also build websites, automated workflows, or use it to get trading indicators. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. The comment part is especially important because this is my first video and I'm very open for feedback. See you in the next video. Bye bye.